Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Force users of all ages, and welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a Star Wars podcast where we get to the guts of what makes Star Wars meaningful to us. As always, I'm Dino Nicandros, and I'm joined by Alyssa Simmons.
Hey, everybody.
Daniel Dawson.
Hello there.
And we are back talking The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you didn't know that by now, where have you been?
Oh my gosh.
Well, we recognize this is not Star Wars, but we don't care. And
what if we
neither should
didn't know?
We're just waiting for the inevitable
Where's Luke?
mishmash. Luke!
Luke!
So this is episode 4, The Whole World is Watching, directed by Kari Skoglund, written by Derek Kolstad, was created by Malcolm Spellman, and by God, we're Marvel fans.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Well,
The whole world was watching, weren't they?
that was violent.
It was so violent. Jeez.
I mean, Arguably? No, I think it, was the bloodiest Marvel thing we've ever seen, question mark, right? You don't see much blood in Marvel stuff.
It was certainly close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if we're not counting, the R-rated stuff, from the X-Men,
Yeah.
Deadpool.
It,
Well, yeah,
But I'm talking about the
Deadpool,
MCU.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
wow.
this episode was disturbing.
Blood
I think
on the
was the word
shield,
I'd
blood
used.
on
I
the
was shocked that they kind of went all the way.
Yeah, they really did.
And not just from the action gore standpoint, but from the thematic standpoint.
Yeah.
It's
I'll be honest. I've been enjoying the series so far. This was the first episode that legit gave me the chills. I was like, wow.
and it starts off with a bang, and we're gonna go very out of order for this episode.
That's fine.
There's so much we need to just discuss on a thematic level that I don't think it's super important. Everybody watched this episode. It's not super important to
The
go
whole world was
bullet
watching.
point by bullet point. But I will say right off the bat, when we start in Wakanda,
Oh,
and this is 6 years prior, which would put us in 2018, understanding that Falcon Winter Soldier takes place in 2024.
I was
immediately
gripping
after
my
Endgame.
sofa so hard when I saw that Wakanda. I was like, oh, wee.
And we have Io and
Bucky.
around this campfire, and she starts using the trigger words that come from the Hydra Red Book that trigger the Winter Soldier programming inside Bucky.
Strawberry.
And for a moment, we're
Barney.
like, what
Red.
are the Wakandans? What are we doing here? Why would she want to trigger that? He says it's probably, this isn't going to work. And you can see he's just struggling as she says the words.
Yeah, she's
And just has a full-on breakdown.
Yeah.
He just gushing tears and absolutely heartbreaking. And then you have this nice pause, and she says, "You're free." And we finally get to see the realization from Bucky that he is free of the prison he has been in.
What a beautiful moment that they made.
And with all the flashbacks, all of his memories from all the different MCU films of him doing just the worst things, and to have it all come flying back to him, and then to kind of be able to release that, and for us to get to actually see it on screen was a big deal, and just does so much for Bucky's characterization.
Oh, it's hands down his best work too as an actor, at least in my opinion. And arguably, at least for me, I'm arguing with myself. No, I think
There's a lot of arguing going on
I'm
so far.
Why are you arguing?
Arguably.
But I feel like maybe it's one of my top 5 favorite top 10 top 10 favorite top 10 favorite dramatic scenes in the MCU like so far.
We've said that a lot. Like I've had a couple of times.
We have obviously our Vision Wanda scene from
Yep.
From was it the second to last episode or was it the last episode?
Second to last.
What is
the penultimate?
What is love if not grief persevering?
Oh god.
Oh
and
yes.
Then,
well, that and then the scene where she says goodbye for a second time.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah,
we're getting a lot of really
this
meaty
series,
stuff.
Well, yeah, and then this series, I thought Bucky's first scene with the therapist is
brilliant.
Was one of the better written scenes. And then obviously this one.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, and I had this discussion with my dad. Like, people love to hate on actors in the MCU. Like,
sure.
Especially in the films. Like, oh, they're just superheroes. It's just fluff. And it's like, you literally cannot say that. Like,
you can't say that.
You can't say that at all. Like,
well,
look.
I another thing I was thinking about in my head is that they that scene by itself, I'm curious if I had seen nothing else of Bucky, and then that was like my first, because like it really, he earned that moment,
totally.
Because like I a lot of times sometimes it's more powerful to see a person like fight back the tears and like and not go like all the way there, but like this guy has been like so reserved, and like we haven't seen like one little crack of a tear or emotion, and like having this moment is so cathartic for his character, so it's like vastly earned moment.
Well, and think about when this happened in the timeline. So this happened in 2018, literally right before the events of Infinity War.
Oh yeah, so he basically had no time.
So he's free, and then Steve shows up, and they're like, "Somebody's coming. We got to do this."
He's like, "But I just got free. Can I have a second?"
And then he gets dusted on top of it all. He's gone for 5 years.
How tragic!
And then comes back, fights a big battle, and then here he is, kind of trying to figure out life after being Winter Soldier. Sam gives up the shield, and he feels like he's been let down in that way. And just think about what this guy has had to go through.
Yeah, he died and came back to life too.
Yeah, I mean, and that was all after he was just released from this, and it's as you said, Daniel, it very much earned. And to Alyssa's point, if you were one of the critics who sat there and said you can't take these actors seriously, you've been under a rock for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Well, and
honestly,
above anything else, I really feel like the reason a lot of critics and a lot of, movie people say those kind of things are because they're jealous.
Totally.
They're jealous that these movies make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, and Martin Scorsese, who I really, really admire, his movies are top-notch. He said as recently as a couple years ago that they're theme park attractions.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he called the Marvel films and that genre theme park attractions with no deeper meaning beyond.
I can't remember. Did he say that he ever
thrills.
actually like sat down to like
No.
watch them?
No, he
Yeah.
never
So
will.
like, how the f would he know?
And that's fine. You can have your
Whatever.
taste, but I think there's this
No,
idea
you can't
that
have your taste if you don't watch it.
But
Shut up, Martin Scorsese.
I think there's this idea that if you like Marvel movies, that there's no room in your palette for smaller character dramas, and I'm
Sure.
like, who made up that rule?
Yeah.
That's a weird rule.
I mean,
yeah.
You're limiting
how
yourself.
stupid. Yeah, right. I don't know. We're getting on a tangent there, but
It's an important one.
Disney, the fact Marvel has transitioned to Disney Plus and is pulling out all the stops when it comes to just brilliant writing and character development, and still being able to have the set pieces and the thrills, which of course have to be there. We love that stuff.
I mean, there's been some performances that are like good enough for Emmy consideration, in my opinion. So
Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany,
Lizzie Olsen, and Paul Bettany, and now the Falcon Winter Soldier,
Sebastian Stan.
like Sebastian
Yeah.
Stan.
Really, he effing killed it this past episode. Anyway.
And Anthony Mackie.
Anthony
will get
Mackie
his
later
turn.
on in the episode.
For sure.
Oh yes. But I think his moment is coming too. Like, I think
absolutely.
Yeah.
he's gonna have his cathartic moment. Well, let's go there. So, didn't this kind of feel like the episode Sam became Captain America without becoming Captain America?
Yeah.
Yep.
But like
Just
you know,
by the way he
but very
treated
much
Carly.
his own version too. You know.
Yes. Well, yes, very much his own version. But you see so much of Steve in him.
Yes.
With how he speaks to Carly.
He's just got such
Yeah,
a warm, open heart, like, and just.
Well, and I think a lot of times, and we've chatted a little bit about this on the pod, but like, Carly is complex. She's not just not just like a villain who's bloodthirsty and just going around blowing stuff up. Like, there's a lot going on there, and it's so much of her fuel is anger based and rightfully so. Like that's why it's such an interesting character for sure. But the thing that was so fantastic about that scene with Sam and Carly is that he does understand her.
Right.
And he has that line. He's like, I understand why you're doing what you're doing. I just don't agree with the way that you're doing it.
And that is the main. I think that is the main similarity between these two Captain Americas, is their sense of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the common denominator.
It just was so fascinating and so cool.
Well, and in that same scene, he says, killing people doesn't make things better, it just makes them different.
Yeah.
Which is such an interesting way to frame that, and it's so true. It's
profound.
Like getting revenge, it doesn't change things in a positive way. It just kind of reshuffles the deck.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still
redistributes
not good.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Really great info on, Sam's PTSD as well, kind of in relating with Carly's PTSD. And how so often, I have a good friend who was recently just diagnosed with PTSD.
Oh man.
And he just said knowing that information just changed his whole entire worldview. Because he was able to pinpoint, oh, that's why I do that, and that's why I do that, and that's why this happens. And so, yeah, just a fantastic thing yet again. And we said this about WandaVision and, dealing with grief and loss. And
these characters are very self-aware now, which is cool.
Here it is again in a little bit more of a subtle way, I think, because he didn't just come out and say that, but yeah, just very empathetic and aware and understanding, but also too getting into the themes of what Captain America was and how he's again, not really sure about taking up the mantle because he kind of believes the shield should just be destroyed, and it still makes me wonder whether or not he's ever going to take up the shield and whether or not he'll, they'll if it is going to be a shield, it'll be a brand new shield of his own and it'll be, reforged.
I think he takes it up, and I think he does it under the premise of I know what it can be.
Yeah.
I know what it once was, and I know what it can be.
What it
and
should
that
be. Yeah.
very much speaks to Sam's worldview.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because arguably, he understands more about the people of America than even Captain America did. Because he's seen more.
Certainly from a different perspective.
From a different perspective, exactly right.
And I don't want this to be a spoiler, but they did release kind of a sizzle for the next episode.
Oh, uh-huh.
And Sam has a line where he says something to the effect of nobody has the right to tell me how I fight for my country or for the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of sounded, and maybe with more context it'll be different, but it sounded like, oh, I'm taking up the shield, but nobody gets to tell me, how and when I can fight for my country.
Well, I think that
for what reason.
It sort of feels like John Walker was like the necessary catalyst to like get him there, to realize why it's so important that he is the one that fills that void, because if he doesn't, this is the bullshit that happens.
Right. And going back to the PTSD bit, I loved how when John Walker shows up and wants to just start busting up the room and take Carly into custody, he says, let
John
me go
Walker,
in there and talk to her.
Like, his performance, like, I thought was great.
Well, speaking of PTSD, he definitely has
Absolutely.
it.
Oh, yeah.
His Afghanistan comment, like,
right.
whoa.
But I just thought it was interesting how Sam reasoned with him and said, I've worked with PTSD patients. I've worked with veterans. I know how this is going to go. Let me go talk to her. But through this episode, you see how fidgety John Walker is and very anxious, and
he's got all these little tics and things that he's
he's quick to confront, and we kind of knew this about him already, but the veneer is already rubbing off.
Well, he's just
they've been doing some very obvious things too, like slowly growing out his stubble too. So you're like, oh, this is not a very clean cut Captain America.
Well, and it's like, the first couple episodes we see John Walker being like, I'm doing this because it's my job and that's my duty and I work for the GRC and like that's what we do.
Right.
But now it was apparent by all of his actions in this episode, everything is ego based now.
Right.
Like he is doing this because he wants power. He wants it all. So
but it's interesting too, because it's been an interesting arc for him too, even the past few episodes, because he started out like signing autographs and being really stoked about it. He's like, oh, I love the limelight kind of thing, and now he's like signing autographs and super annoyed by it. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, oh God, I can't.
Well, and that conversation with Lamar is so telling. After he gets I think it takes place after he gets knocked around by the Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he just gets the crap knocked out of him.
That scene was that whole sequence.
I screamed. I was so freaking happy. Oh my God.
We'll go back to that, but I thought the conversation he had with Lamar, where he said, Lamar's trying to kind of talk him off the ledge. He's like, you have 3 medals of honor. And he said, yeah, they threw a bunch of medals at me to make me forget the worst day of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't know what happened in Afghanistan, but
apparently
he had to do something really bad. And then he goes on to say, being Captain America was the first time I felt like I'm actually doing something right.
Mm.
Yeah, he said something about the lines being very blurred when he was in Afghanistan, and that the things that kind of like made him a hero and gave him those medals, like he doesn't feel proud of them.
Yeah, he's very much but trying to fill a void here.
But taking on the shield, he felt like he was actually doing good, and then add on the pressure that comes with that mantle, and he's well aware of what Steve Rogers did, and
and the shoes that he's got to fill.
And this is not again. This don't want to make it sound like this is excusing John Walker's behavior, but
no, but
here's
you have
another
to understand.
Instance. Here's another instance of somebody who is far more complex than the outrage towards his character would suggest.
Yeah.
And,
No, but I gotta hand it to him as the actor, because he definitely went there, and it was believable. Yeah.
But we were talking about so some context. The after the Dora Milaje show up, it's very clear they're after Zemo for killing King T'Chaka in Captain America: Civil War.
That whole scene was delicious.
So Io tells Bucky at the beginning of the episode, "You have 8 hours, and then we're coming for him," and
taking him,
and come they do, and
like, oh, time's up.
They bust into Zemo's apartment, and John Walker is there, and he tries to
and they warn Zemo
do
too.
the whole. Oh yeah. And John Walker's in there, and he's trying to act all Captain America-y, and
you have no jurisdiction here, as if he has jurisdiction there.
And she has the line, she's like, "We have jurisdiction wherever we are."
Yeah,
like, oh my god,
they are the most badass.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we get some like crazy badass characters in Marvel movies, but like, they are so awesome.
But yeah, he was just being such a douche, and he like, you know, like was trash talking their. Didn't he call them like sticks or something like that? Their spears.
Yeah, let's put down the sticks.
Yeah, right.
And he got the crap knocked out of him.
That wasn't a good choice.
She just shish kebabbed him to the table.
The amount of dope
and
teamwork
Bucky
going
tries
on.
to do. Yeah, and Bucky tries to do some damage control, and he gets literally disarmed.
Oh my god!
In such a cool maneuver, and it was so great that it was Io because she knows exactly how it was put on.
Yeah. Just like these.
They put it on
pressure
there,
points.
So, right.
Also, the mechanics of that was really cool. Like they zoomed all the way in on it. I was like, ooh, that's dope.
I was like, jeez.
Purple.
Sam is
Sam
is like, did you know that could happen? Like,
and Zemo's in the back just drinking a scotch, watching this.
Yeah, he's like, that's fun. And he slowly backs away, like into the toilet.
Zemo continues to be just a friggin' delight.
So fun. A Turkish delight.
A Turkish delight.
oh, so creepy, giving children Turkish delights.
Yeah. And what did he sing? Did he sing Baba Black Sheep? Was that what he sang?
Have you any wool?
Oh, it's so gross.
Well, I mean, nothing is scarier than someone sort of like singing a nursery rhyme, like slowly in a cappella. I feel like every horror movie is like, Mary had a little lamb. And then there's like
this rough
a
voice
demon
says,
like
"Come
laughing in the corner.
Turkish delights. Come, child. I won't hurt
But
you.
I'll say this about Zemo, though. Whenever you think he's going to do something really egregious, like my mind went places when he's approaching the kids.
That's what they obviously wanted us to be very nervous for those children.
But I have to hand it to Zemo. He hasn't taken his eye off of like what his singular goal is, and it's just to get rid of the serum.
Yeah.
So, like, he's not out to kill people for killing people's sake. Another we've talked about it at length, but another very complicated villain who has like a very clear goal and a very clear reason for that,
and is also very aware of supremacy. You know.
Yeah.
And
yes, huge theme throughout this whole episode.
Throughout the entire series now, is basically like, I mean, you can kind of, I mean, I don't know if you could completely narrow it down into one theme, but I mean, it's like fighting supremacy, you know?
Yeah.
Right, and the danger of putting people on pedestals.
And Zemo's whole point is that you cannot be a super soldier and not be a supremacist.
Well, he said you can't want to be.
And he said want? Okay.
Well, I think so, and that was...
I can't remember if he said can't or want, but Bucky says, well, what about Steve? And he's like, touche. But then again, has there been another Steve Rogers?
Well, and that's interesting too, because they they technically did see another Steve Rogers, but that's another story. How
do you mean, Isaiah?
No, meaning like, well, I'd even actually that yes, also that, but I was thinking about like the old Steve Rogers, you know what I mean? So like, and they're we're not really sure whether or not like maybe that is the same Steve Rogers or maybe that's another, you know, another timed version of Steve Rogers. You know what I mean? No.
Well, I think I understand what you're saying, but either way, like Steve has always been Steve.
Yeah, no,
like,
I 100% yes.
And you bring up this is a kind of a good segue because when Hoskins and John Walker are talking, they kind of echo a line from Dr. Erskine from the first Captain America movie where he talks about how the serum makes good people great and bad people worse.
Yeah.
And Hoskins said, doesn't it make you just more of what you are?
Right, which is another way of saying that, yeah.
Right.
Right.
And the whole
And
reason that Steve Rogers was chosen to be Cap in the first place is because
a good person.
Because of who
exactly
he was.
who he was.
The man willing to jump on a grenade to save his fellow man. And and it was the difference of you wanting the serum or not wanting the serum. And but I mean, arguably what's his face? The original Captain America. Got my brain.
Steve Rogers?
Steve, thank you. Steve didn't even know what the serum was, So
We've only said his name like 16 times in the last few minutes. Steve!
Alan!
You've been saying it.
Steve! But yeah, he didn't even know what the serum was, so obviously he wasn't like looking for it. Bucky obviously wasn't looking for it either.
Right, it was forced on Bucky, but Sam said, "I
don't want it.
I wouldn't take it."
Yeah, which is a good sign. That's a number one like Captain America quality like that you need to have, I think, in order to be like the true Captain America.
And Zemo was so impressed with him too. He was like, no hesitation. Wow.
Huh.
Great.
Good for you. And then we see the juxtaposed right next to John Walker, who is just like, oh yeah, give me that serum. I want that sexy serum in my body.
Well, and he asks Hoskins, he's like, well, when Hoskins says, it makes you more of who you really are, and he's like, who am I? And that's where Hoskins is like, well, you've won 3 Medal of Honors, and it's clear Walker's wrestling with something, and he's coming at the serum from the standpoint of, number one, I need it from a practical position of actually being able to keep up with all of these people, but number two, maybe this will make me a better person. Like, maybe this will give my life meaning. Maybe taking the serum, he thinks he's a good person, or can be, and maybe he thinks the serum will do that for him, but we quickly find out.
It amplifies the wrong side.
You know what I just thought about? I wish that we would have had some more scene work with his girlfriend or wife or whoever she is.
Oh, right, yeah. Wait, who actually was she? Was she the girl? Was she just...
Well, he doesn't have a love interest in the comics.
She's not in the comics, but in
she could have been his sister for all we know.
In that first episode, I mean, she could have, but either way, like, we've got a, either a family member or loved one. I don't know. It just would be interesting.
Well, there's definitely some. I mean, they edited the shit out of this series and changed some things. Like
the girl is like, example, I had a big part.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, because there's another example of the Flag Smashers scene where they're all kind of like sitting around a campfire and like watching the news on their phone and stuff that felt very like post edited. There's a lot of like voiceovers happening and like them looking at people, but you not seeing their mouths move, that age-old trick. And it just felt like, they may or may not have made a number of changes after film.
Yeah, I don't know, because I remember you'd said that the first time, and obviously I realized that gets used a lot, but that hasn't occurred to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I for whatever reason, I'm like ultra like
aware of it.
I'm sensitive about it, apparently. Don't know why. I don't know why. I can't tell you.
So going back to Carly and how complicated she is.
Yeah.
Much like John Walker, which we haven't even discussed why or how he crosses the line yet, but you all know where we're going with that. But it very much feels like she has as well.
Yeah.
In more than one way. I mean, the last episode they killed people,
blew them up.
And she didn't appear to have any
remorse.
Like there wasn't a like, I can't believe we just did that, or even any sort of. She was just like, yep, this is it.
Is pretty sociopathic, yeah.
Well, and then in the conversation with Sam, when she's trying to act all tough, and he brings up the fact she killed people, and she said, "I'd do it again if it meant
without hesitation
what we need to accomplish." And she catches herself and realizes Sam is absolutely making her out to be a supremacist of sorts,
right?
The very thing she's fighting against.
We get that whole Machiavellian theme again too, which is like the ends to justify the means, or you know, like
yes.
Yeah, I mean they straight out said it.
Yeah, they basically said it, and Bucky I think actually said it in this episode too, which is interesting. I think that Sam is the only one that really hasn't like no, it's not worth it, you know.
Yeah, Zemo says it about. Did Zemo say it? Zemo say it about
himself? He says
himself?
it like in different ways, like I think almost in every time we see him. But Bucky definitely I think said at one point. I can't remember when, but yeah.
Well, and then finally she crosses the line when she calls Sarah Wilson. How she has her number and knows where they live, we don't know, but she asks Sarah, "I just need to know if I need to kill your brother."
Yikes! 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 Yikes!
And then said, you know, if you can't get him to come see me alone, maybe I'll come visit you and the kids. It's like,
hide your kids, hide your wives, because Carly is coming to town.
It's like, Carly, like I'm trying my best to
defend
to
you.
like you to yeah. I mean, if I can, just like I get it, but
not this.
Involve kids. Nope. I'm like, nah.
Well, yeah, you know, it's like you want the bad. It's cool to see like bad people be redeemed, but yeah, she's going down a road that she may not be able to come back from. Yeah, it's like, how deep is she gonna get into that? And it seems like she might have already passed the point of no return.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's hard to say.
He made it back.
It's hard to say. There, you know, that moment, the scene with Sam, he was definitely speaking to her in a way that she was digesting and really hearing him and believing him. And then John had to come in and.
I mean, we all saw that coming from a mile away. I was like, he is going to ruin everything,
just effing everything up,
and he did. And he keeps doing that, and it's like that. And so he is the. I mean, are we kind of thinking that John Walker is becoming like the villain, and is that what's going to maybe redeem Carly? Is that she's going to have to like help get rid of John Walker, kind of thing?
With 2 episodes left, I couldn't tell you who the chief villain is.
Right, I know, which is crazy.
Because
we have 2 episodes left.
We thought like Power Broker. We thought
he's still out there.
Yeah, like
there's no way that they're gonna like tie that up in a bow like that in 2 episodes. Yeah.
No, but as we know, they're not interested in doing that with these series. Which
I do have a Star Wars question.
Well, and something occurred to me.
Struck me.
Something occurred to me. I think I had the wrong impression on I went in with the kind of the wrong framing for the Disney Plus shows. They're required watching from the standpoint of getting more character development, but what I think is going on here, and what Kevin Feige actually echoed, was you don't have to have seen the shows to get what's going on in the movies that are about to come out.
Right.
So viewing it through that lens, it's like, oh, well, it makes sense WandaVision didn't incorporate every ridiculous thing we concocted, because they're going to handle those bigger overarching things in the movies.
Of course.
Oh, you know who who the villain of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is?
Oh, it's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
Obviously.
Oh, I thought you were going to do something profound like it's us.
It's that's
Owie.
good to know. Damn.
We are Mephisto.
That was a deep cut. Oh, that sounds like a really good T-shirt. You know what? If we ever do make it inside the Tauntaun T-shirt,
that's going to be one of them. We are Mephisto.
We are Mephisto. Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting that with so little time left that we aren't quite sure who to be like 100% angry at.
Yeah, it's almost like we're just like maybe the it's a little bit more metaphorical who the it's not necessarily who but a what, and the what might be supremacy, I guess.
Well, and what a statement to be making, especially at this time in history and what's going on in the United States is like everybody has a different idea of what the enemy is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem.
That's legit.
Right? I mean, it's everybody has their idea of the truth, and anybody who is not in line with that is made to be the enemy. And that's kind of what you're seeing in this show. It's, you know, and they're brilliantly setting it up to where we see each one of their motivations. We get Carly, we get Zemo, we get John Walker, we get Bucky and Sam.
We get Agatha.
We get Magneto, we get Mephisto and Ultron.
I mean, if it's any indication, I mean, you know, she could come in episode
Hayward
7
Ultron.
and be like, "It was Agatha all along." Like,
can you imagine?
And 1 million people killed themselves.
It's just the end credits scene of the final episode of this. It's just Agatha flying over flying over Madripoor, just like.
Oh my god.
So what we didn't broach with John Walker is that we have a scene where Zemo ducks out during the whole Dora Milaje thing, and we think he's pieced out for good.
Oh yeah, you think he's gone?
Well, no, I was going to say later in the episode he shows up.
He's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the warehouse, and he shoots Carly several times.
Whoops.
And she drops all of the serum. And he starts crushing all of it. Mm-hmm. And is there a moment? I had a moment where I was like, he's going to take one of them.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
He's going to take the last one.
Him destroying was actually a surprise to me for some reason.
Right, but he doesn't. I was like, huh. If I can't say anything else about Zemo, is
he followed through
earlier. He has his
code.
Purity from that sense, you know, from that standpoint. It's like, okay,
all right,
you know,
nobody should have it.
Nobody should have it, and yet one vial gets left because John Walker throws the shield at Zemo's head and knocks him out. And
that man should be dead, by the way.
Yeah.
That would have
taking a vibranium.
He wakes up
shield
and
to
he's
the
got
head,
like,
probably.
I have a little bruise on my head. I'm like, that man would be severely
Your
concussed.
skull would be bisected.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that was a little bit unbelievable. Well, not the only thing, but I was just like that was a little ridiculous to me. But
although the shield is quite lightweight, like
sure,
vibranium is. So but perhaps
still would have definitely gone. It would have been an uglier face wound.
I would think.
Fine. All right, fine.
At least just a slash across the forehead, you know?
Right, a good sized gash.
Yeah. Oh, look at this gash.
Excuse me?
But nope.
I didn't do anything.
But yeah, that bitch gets knocked out.
But then John Walker picks up the vial and puts it in his pocket, and we know what's
his cargo pants.
What's happening here. Because in the next sequence, in a fight in a stairwell, he bends a guy's crowbar, and we're like, "Oh God, he took it."
Yeah, I love, and actually, I think that was kind of cool because I think it's like the super typical thing. Like that would have been the thing that everybody was waiting to see for him to like, you know, like be like,
right,
or
be
shoot himself up,
and
yeah,
right.
But they didn't show it, which I thought was a really cool.
And
choice.
He bends the crowbar, and then you see the realization from Sam and Bucky. They're like, "What did you do?
No. What have you done?" Yeah, pretty cool.
The Flag Smashers take Hoskins hostage. Giant fight ensues. And just as they are about to... Well, so let's back up. Carly's plan, as of this moment, she wants to make a statement. So their goal is to take out Captain America, kill Captain America. Killing Sam, as she tells Sam, that doesn't do anything for anybody. It's not a big enough statement, but killing Captain America is... That will get their message out loud and clear. So they have the opportunity.
Too, in case anybody didn't catch it or remember, I'm sure you guys did, but out there in podcast land, that Carly's friend or confidant, like in their conversation, I think at the grave
right before Danya's funeral.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like talking about Captain America, and like he was basically admitting that he's like a Captain America fan, you know, like since childhood, like was a fan of Captain America. But yeah.
Yeah, and she's clearly disillusioned with the idea of the shield, and but they're about to kill John Walker, and Hoskins comes in at the last second and saves him, and Carly punches him across the room, and he dies very brutally against a concrete pillar.
Yikes!
Oh gosh,
that was a big like. Wait, whoa, what? So I guess we're not doing Battlestar then?
Yeah.
But even Carly was like, "Oh no,
Whoa,
that was not supposed to happen." And at this moment, even before John runs over to Hoskins, you're like,
"There it is."
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, the force in which he hit that pillar and came down, you were like, he's gone.
Well, it's interesting to me because I mean. I think it probably would be much more powerful if he was like legit dead, but I mean, like, it also would be interesting if, like, he thought he was dead and then did what he did afterwards and then was like, "Oh, I'm not dead." He's like, "Oh, whoops, I didn't need to do that."
Yeah, I think I don't know.
He looks very dead.
He looked very dead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and what's the rule? If you didn't see him die on screen, they're not dead. I mean, he died on screen in very violent fashion.
We didn't see the classic, like, you know, heart flat line, you know.
Well, they even flashed back to it for a second. Once John runs out of the building, they flash back to give you a quick cut back to Lamar. And it's like, okay,
corpse.
I think that was them telling us, no, he's dead, and John is about to freaking lose it. And
lose it he does.
Lose it he does in a disturbing yet very emblematic, just brutal beatdown with the shield. And you will remember from Captain America Civil War when Steve and Tony are fighting.
And Tony, yep.
And Steve has Tony on the ground, and he lifts up the shield, and it looks like he's about to take his head off, but instead he just disables Tony's armor. You get the exact same scenario here, where John raises the shield above his head and brings it down.
This guy's not wearing armor, though.
But and you also think something's going to happen that's going to stop him from doing it. Like Falcon's going to fly in, or he's going to realize people are around
flag
and stop.
Smashers, or
not on my watch.
It's just one of those last second things that are pretty common in these types of movies. And no help comes, and he beats his face in with the shield.
Well, in fact, everybody's watching.
And everybody's watching.
Full
and filming
crowd
on
around.
their phones.
Everybody's got their phones
Hence the
out.
title of the
gasped.
episode.
I honestly, I could not believe he killed in that manner.
Yeah, like that. That was my jaw was wide open at that point. Like there's some moments in television where you're just like, no, there's no way. Like the Red Wedding in in Game of Thrones. You're just like, how? But yeah, this was one of those moments. I was like, I couldn't believe that they were really going there, and they did it. They effing did it. But it's just so, and it's it's so sad because he was literally like, oh my God, Captain America I was such a fan. He's my favorite. And then he freaking dies by the same shield. Like, how sad.
And John looks up and realizes everyone's filming, and it's like he almost doesn't care.
Yeah.
There's this moment where he has like this kind of head cock where
he's just like, well, it had to be done. Somebody's got to do it. It's going to be me. So go ahead and hate me. Fine. I don't care.
And the final shot is of him holding the shield just covered in blood.
Whoa. Like, what a shot. Yeah.
It's like, Steve Rogers, you are not. We already knew that. But Captain America does not kill in cold blood.
Just so much symbolism going on, too. It's very, very steeped.
I mean, that shield is tainted now.
Yeah,
we're at the point where it's like, Sam, I know you're feeling a lot of things, and I'm with you, my friend. Take it back, for God's sake.
Yeah, take it back, wash it, maybe get some
Wash
hydrogen
it,
peroxide.
make it your own.
And have a day. Either that or literally, I mean, like, we've got Wakanda, in this series now. They could just take the shield, make him a cute new one,
Or if you don't want it, give it to Bucky. You said Bucky wants it, so...
Bucky wants it. Yeah, and Bucky doesn't mind that somebody died with it.
But what a point of no return for
John
the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like that shield is Steve's legacy, and it has just beaten a man to death.
Well, and you know what? You make a very valid point too, because America, or the world for that matter, they're not getting the view that we're getting, of their life story. They're only getting these short snippets of video that they're doing, that you see the people like in the crowds that are like videotaping, probably putting it on TikTok or whatever the hell. So, now the name Captain America is kind of also tainted. So, I mean, like, whether or not Sam picks it up or anybody picks it up, they're going to be like, oh, I don't know, though.
Well, and what's going to happen in the immediate aftermath of this? I mean, does the U.S. government take the shield from John Walker and so we have a giant PR disaster?
Yeah.
Or do they double down on him and say his role is to fight terrorism?
That sounds very,
is this
very
the war on
much
terror?
Kind of like what's happening in real life. Bum, bum. Be very interesting to see how they go with this.
And in that vein, do Sam and Bucky once again become fugitives of the U.S. government for yet again breaking the Sokovia Accords, for taking the shield violently from John Walker?
Right.
Which might be what they're setting up here, is that they're going to let him off the hook after like a court hearing or a kind of a congressional panel or whatever.
Yep.
But Sam and Bucky are absolutely taking the shield from him.
Yeah, there's no way he keeps it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is no way the U.S. government accepts that those two take it.
Right.
After everything they've already done.
I think that's
eyes.
totally valid, and I could totally absolutely see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah, my mind
and Zemo is gone.
Yes, Zemo's
well.
gone. Zemo's gone.
Like, he pieced out, so that's
he
not
took the rest of his Turkish
great.
delights, and
I'd imagine he still wants to kill Carly and the Flag Smashers. So I don't know if they'll leave that for another day, or if because I don't really think he honestly, and it's so weird to say, I don't think he has a bone to pick with Bucky and Sam.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, maybe Bucky, maybe he wants to kill Bucky still, but
I think he's past it now.
But I think this does kind of actually answer the question we were asking beforehand: who becomes the villain? Well, we've got John Walker and Carly, and then the power broker. Right. And Hayward Ultron.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, the I wonder if we will get a power broker reveal, and because this person is after the Flag Smashers too. We've just got this kind of game of Twister going on.
Yeah.
I don't.
Could be anybody, and also is everybody.
And you know what? I don't think I was fair to Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the beginning, just because WandaVision told us not to have any expectations. But I kind of thought this one, just because of how it was marketed, maybe, that I thought it was going to be a lot more straightforward. Like, it's going to be a Captain America movie. The battle lines are going to be drawn really simply. And they'll touch on some timely issues, but it'll just be kind of a thriller, but we kind of know where it's going.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, there has been
really
some
well
particular
done.
moments, albeit, but like the whole theme of the show and like the direction that it's gone, it's totally taken me for a loop, which is awesome.
And pulling no punches.
Or all the punches.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch, because a lot of times we watch these type of shows as a sort of form of escape from real life and not saying that it's a bad thing by any means. I think that they're all themes and topics that need to be talked about in film and television, because sometimes that's the only way people learn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
what did we learn today by watching Marvel films?
Yeah, but I rewatched, and I'm not gonna talk about the stuff, but rewatching it today with what's going on currently in our world was really
leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it just made me feel really scared and sad.
And just so unsure about. Just as we're unsure of the direction of this TV show, like it's the same way we feel about this country, Yeah. Very, 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 very current.
Well, I mean, we need a Captain America.
We do.
Like, it's whoever that is, or whatever that is.
I'll tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be Masha.
Well, it could be.
Well,
I guess you're right. No, Masha will not.
Who are you to tell? Well, no. If anything, she's going to be Black Panther.
Exactly.
Aww. Little Masha, Black Panther. Boop boop.
She's a Black Panther.
Sorry, in case anybody is tuning in for the first time, Masha is Dino's cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh,
dog owner or a dog lover with a cat. That's an interesting combination. And we still, speaking of which, we still have the Wakandans.
Right.
I don't think they were dropped in just to kind of be a random part of it. I think they're still very much around.
And
they're after Zemo.
And thank God they're here.
Yes. Thank God.
Truly.
Although I will say, the more they include them, inevitably the sadder I will get that Chadwick Boseman will not be.
Now you don't think that they're gonna. No, they're not gonna mention it.
Oh well, they'll mention it, but I thought you were
going to say. That's what I'm curious
say,
about. Do you think that they'll try? I mean, I'm sure that this is not going to be.
Not in this show.
No,
I don't think.
But definitely in the upcoming.
Oh no, yeah, no doubt. But like, they're not gonna tie up Chad.
2.
They're not gonna tie up his bow in this show for sure.
No.
They're gonna give him like a full thing.
I thought you were gonna say. Would they include him digitally at some point? I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think so either. No,
they could for a brief moment somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
In something.
Yeah.
But,
like because you know how they go to oh gosh, what do they call it? Like basically heaven for Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like they could very easily put him into that. Like where all the kings are.
Well, definitely if Shuri has inevitably has a ceremony where she's made Black Panther, she would have to go see it.
Oh God, that'd be the most heartbreaking scene.
But see, I don't know. I don't know if they would do a scene that big without him being alive.
I know.
I can't.
I mean, the only way they could do it would be like him and like. I don't know how they do it. I just honestly don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe he's only in Black Panther form, like so you don't ever like see his face anymore, which would be also really sad. But yeah, I don't know. Just sort of going crazy for a second. Just because Wakanda is a part of this episode now, like all of the rumor mills have gone crazy. I was like, have we never learned? We haven't learned anything apparently. No. But already people are talking about, you know what this means? That means Storm is just right around the corner. She's gonna make her entrance, or they're gonna give a
and they've been saying since Endgame that Namor lives off the coast of Wakanda, and he's the guy who was causing the earthquakes under the African continent that Okoye was briefly talking about in Endgame.
Yeah,
like,
and maybe,
okay, all right,
maybe. But he's not showing up in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's not
let's
happening.
Relax.
Not happening. Oh, another fun thing I heard too, which I was just like, I love the idea, but there's absolutely no way in hell they're putting that in this show. Just trying to figure out who Sharon. Is she the power broker, or is she working for the power broker, or is she even Sharon? There's another theory that they think that she's actually Mystique,
Oh gosh.
We can't.
No.
I am not drunk enough to pursue
I
that.
love it though. I love it. I know it's
Oh,
definitely
boy.
100% not true,
Mystique
but it's so
could be
fun.
anyone under those
under those
parameters.
that umbrella,
It could literally
it could
be
anyone.
Right.
Hell, they could. Yeah, I mean, they could all be Skrulls.
I was gonna say,
I mean,
literally
this
everybody
could
in
be
this
just
show so
one
far
giant,
could be a Skrull. You're absolutely
This could
right.
be one giant advertisement for Secret Wars. No, like we were saying, like I don't think these shows are gonna have the giant character reveals.
No,
because they're not. Even though tens of millions of people are watching these shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say they are vital to your understanding of the movies.
Sure.
But they're not going to introduce somebody knowing there's the potential for someone who goes to see the movies.
Yeah.
Not watching.
no,
us.
we've learned our lessons.
But they did. They
it's okay, Dino.
Marvel was teasing a episode 5.
Oh, I know. They're doing
cameo.
They apparently they haven't learned their lesson either.
What?
But at the same time, they told us to lower our expectations or something to that effect. But
Yeah,
that there was a
right.
famous actor. There was a famous actor playing a very famous comic character who has not yet shown up in the MCU, but might not necessarily be super important going forward.
What does that even mean?
So literally, that comment was made just to make all the nerds
Me angry.
go insane.
Right.
So you wanted to light Twitter on fire. That's
Of course they
what
did.
you wanted to do.
Of course.
Well, you know what they're doing too is they're getting a bunch of unpaid writers now too, because all the people on Reddit are writing all these amazing script ideas, and they're just like,
I thank
"Ooh,
God.
yeah, that's good."
I think it's pretty apparent that everybody in the Marvel Brain Trust has not spent any time on Reddit.
Yeah.
And I thank them for that.
Yeah, wow, it's very very
Seriously.
smart.
Because that's where creativity goes to die.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not comparing us to this group of people, but I just watched the QAnon documentary.
Oh my
And
God.
the way that those people look for clues in things, it was a little bit like how we behaved during
Mephisto.
WandaVision.
Yeah, you might as well just yeah.
I was
Q
like-
is Mephisto.
I was like,
Yeah.
I publicly apologize.
I mean,
for
we had a
being-
fun time. We know
We
it's not.
did.
We know it's not real life. We know it's not that. But in some aspects, I was like, "Oh boy."
But yeah, it is a good lesson though, like how easy it is to go down a rabbit hole. You know what I mean? If you let yourself.
Yeah, and yes, your point is well taken, Alyssa. But also, that was absolutely the design of WandaVision. I don't think they meant
sure.
for
Yeah,
us
oh,
to
for
predict
sure.
all
Sure,
of these
sure.
people showing up, but the design was
We can't
always to
fully
make it seem like
blame
something
ourselves.
is going on here that you don't.
Yeah, it was a mystery. It was meant to be mysterious.
And there was absolutely some eye winks, just like there have been in Falcon. I mean, going to Madripoor alone was like X-Men,
Uh-huh.
X-Men, the Princess Bar, Wolverine.
Yeah. They were more
I
than
mean,
winking.
like-
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm not saying that we're anons. I'm just saying. Oh boy,
Please God, no.
We might be Benons.
Benons.
Be nuns.
Yeah, sure.
Bannons?
No.
Ew. Fucking gross.
Well,
Ugh,
any
so-
other?
Yeah,
Daniel, you said you had a Star Wars thought before.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you reminded me. Okay, so because we're a Star Wars podcast, damn it. So, our conversation about Carly brought up an interesting thought. Because, going past the point of no return, like...
Amphis Nest is going to show up in this season of Falcon Winter Soldier. Is that,
Wait,
you're saying
what?
She's playing Amphis. Are you saying she's playing Amphis Nest in the Falcon
No!
Winter Soldier? Is that what you're? Okay.
No. Okay, my question is, these are the hypotheticals. If Darth Vader survived, do
Survived
you
what?
feel like he could have been welcomed back into society?
No.
Because yeah, right?
Mm-mm.
Even though his he he was redeemed at the end and he became the good side, but would people forgive
It's like
him
the
and
same
be
thing
like,
with-
yeah, we know you're good inside now. We'll let you live and live out your days.
It's an interesting hypothetical, but he was never going to survive standing up to the Emperor. Right. That was not going to happen.
Right.
But they would have had. I don't think you totally come back from that unless you make the ultimate sacrifice. And I think the same thing is true
so
of Ben.
The fact that he made that sacrifice is part of the reason why
is what redeemed him.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true of Ben Solo.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
One of the biggest critiques of that moment at the end of Rise of Skywalker is, wait, why does he get redeemed? This is really toxic. And I was like, well, no, it's not, because he literally just gave his life to her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then died. So
Not figuratively, actually.
You don't have to forgive him, or rather, you don't have to forget everything. But he paid an ample price. He paid with his life.
The biggest price, yeah.
He died. So, I think that's the only way you get any semblance of redemption, is if you are willing to give what you've taken.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's some deep shit.
Well.
So, if that's any indicator for where Carly is headed, interesting thoughts.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know how that gets resolved.
Yeah, same. She might have to.
It just feels like everybody's crossing
herself.
lines, right? Yeah, oddly enough, I don't. Well, actually, Zemo, he already crossed the line. He killed the head of state of Wakanda.
Yeah, that was kind of a big deal. Yeah,
and killed many others using the Winter Soldier, and then pitted the Avengers against one another, which in turn destroyed a lot of stuff. And so yeah, he's already crossed the line. Walker's crossed the line. Carly's crossed the line. The power broker probably crosses the line before he gets up for breakfast every morning. So
no doubt.
I hope Bucky has no relapses. I don't suspect he will, because they made a point to.
Yeah, he gets a pass because he wasn't really.
So I think he's okay.
Yeah, because
I
think that they've made that pretty clear that he was definitely not in control of himself.
Yeah, of course.
And they're setting Sam up to be Steve, so I think we're okay on that front. Anything
I think so.
Bad.
But I love how complicated it is. It's very fun.
Yep. I cannot wait.
Awesome.
I cannot wait.
Next episode is coming.
Yes. Okay. We have 2 more? Yes.
Just 2 more.
Yep.
That's it.
2 more episodes.
2 more.
Oh, but there's a secret 3rd episode.
The last 2 episodes are 75 minutes long.
Yeah, right.
No.
75,000 minutes long.
Actually, I did read something about the next one being quite long.
Oh boy, here we go.
I believe it when I see it.
But the runtimes have been
the runtimes have been
reported this
time.
Yeah,
they've been correct.
Wanda
was all over the place.
That was just infuriating.
Yeah, where are people getting this information?
We wanted the long episodes so bad.
I know. This is the right amount. This feels good.
Yeah.
This feels real good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
She's a tasty
Marshall. We hope that you will continue on this journey with us.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. We've got
our season of Star Wars is coming.
Yeah, we've got Star Wars stuff coming. We have a Star Wars special edition tidbit coming your way real soon. An exciting collaboration that we're doing with our friend Miss Valerie Larson. So stay tuned for that. And
you're not even gonna guess what it is.
You
literally won't guess.
You won't guess. It's not possible.
But it's awesome. So. Yeah, thanks so much for listening. This is Inside the Tauntaun. It is. Welcome, Daniel. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
I'm Daniel Dawson.
I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the Force be with you.
Always.
I love you 3000.